front.
It's a cybersecurity.
Mrs. Nye said one of us had to sit in front, so.
Yes, yeah. Denise, better late than never.
Yes, yes.
I didn't think you'd want to screen guys showing up to your house, so I said it wasn't going to work.
Well, I hope it's
I thought you were gonna say I'm used to strange guys.
No.
That's what I thought.
Not so lucky.
All right, I have 6:30. So we can call our meeting to order.
It's
And if
always
you
fun.
could please stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And if I could please have a motion to approve the minutes of our regular meeting, December 21.
Second.
Questions or comments regarding the minutes? All those in favor? Opposed? Abstention? We have no updates to tonight's agenda, and I have no correspondence to share for the good of the order. Comments from you, Superintendent Griff?
The only comment that I would make is that we're starting to get some additional information, COVID related, as much of what I've been talking about over the last year and a half has been. I have a meeting in Syracuse tomorrow. The governor today came out and made a statement that the state is not going to require the contact tracing the way it's looked for quite some time now. And obviously by contact tracing, I mean, those folks that are close contacts having to quarantine. It's not quite clear. I didn't get a chance to spend a lot of time with it this afternoon because I just saw it about an hour and a half ago. But I have a meeting tomorrow, but essentially what it appears is that individual counties will be able to make the determination of what that contact tracing will look like. Our county has readily admitted that they're struggling to keep up with the number of cases that we've had, and for quite some time now have been somewhat behind in terms of notifying us at school. Our staff has been doing a great job throughout COVID, trying to track all those and again, trying to make sure that our kids are safe and the adults working with the kids are safe. So I really do welcome, if it truly is going to end up that there won't be a requirement on our part to send kids home that have otherwise been deemed a close contact at school. I'll feel comfortable with that because again, we haven't had, as I've said to you all along, we haven't had spread here at school. But I'll certainly keep you up to date with what I find out tomorrow. I'll be communicating with our community tomorrow because one of the questions that I'm sure will come up is, if I'm currently in quarantine, what does that mean for me? And obviously, what does that mean for me moving forward? So look forward to some more learning tomorrow and then an opportunity to share with our school community about where we'll be moving forward. So questions? I don't know that I could answer much of it right now, but again, I think, good sign in that I think we're headed in the right direction. I'll editorialize a bit. I don't see mask and social distancing going away, nor do I think it probably should right now. But again, I think keeping kids in school while ensuring that they're healthy at the same time is something that I'm looking forward to.
And I think for the good of the order, I appreciate just how fluid that is. We probably had 3 separate updates over the winter holiday. Then we had 2 last week, another one last night from the Department of Health, which said it was really more specific to school-age children, but then it said there's more updates to come. So, and then you have the governor's commentary this evening. So it is incredibly fluid. Appreciate people's frustration and looking for that information. The thing that gets confusing is when we release it and 4 hours later we're releasing the update. So I appreciate, Superintendent, that you're keeping us apprised of the information as it is known. All set, Tom?
Yes.
We're going to move on to our board presentations, and we have junior high highlights this evening.
We do, and we have some of the most capable people on the planet here to talk to us about it. We'll start with Mrs. Schneider, who's going to introduce a couple of our fine staff members and some of their wonderful students.
Yeah, so Tonight we're going to highlight a new opportunity for our students and some of the intermediate students. You know, as a building leader, you always love it when you throw something at a teacher and, you know, they knock it out of the park, and that's what Martha and I did this summer. I was working on the schedule, and I went to her and I asked her, you know, what do you think about taking a skills block, you know, not in 6th grade, she's a 6th grade social studies teacher, and she said sure, she would be willing to help out. And so she has an 8th grade skills block with our Tier 1 students, and what they do is they have time for enrichment activities that they might not otherwise have throughout their day. And she came up with a great collaboration with Miss Nye, who is a 5th grade teacher, to allow our 8th graders to mentor our 5th grade students. And so I'm really proud to invite them up, and we have 3 8th graders and 2 5th graders. So Mrs. Nye and Miss Nye, come on up and share. Come on up, guys. You have like a steer? Wherever you want to stand is fine. So, hi everybody, I am Martha Nye. I did put pictures up of all of us because sometimes you don't see us with our smiles, and Anthony took not a picture, but other than that. So you can see everybody on the top row. We have Cameron, Anthony, and Addison. Right here, those are 8th graders. And Miss Nye.
Hi, I'm Miss Nye, and these are my wonderful 5th graders, Lydia and Jonathan.
Yeah. So we have, we've taken the time today just to kind of explain how it started, and Mrs. Schneider was really kind the way that she explained that. She gave me the 8th grade class, and there's a reason why I'm certified K through 6, because I'm terrified of 8th graders, but these guys are pretty great. But after brainstorming a bit with Jessie, we kind of explained, like, how can we keep them actively engaged, especially in a class that they don't earn a grade for, because that's often the motivation for a lot of students. So Jessie and I decided that maybe we could pair the students up and they could act as a mentor 2 days a week. And that was just kind of our idea, and we really just threw it at them. And this is some research based on how it can benefit our youth and our mentors as well, because it's a great idea to keep them busy at times, but at the same time it really does do a great job in the long run. I'm not going to go through all of these, but you can kind of see the benefits for the youth and benefits for the mentors. It's really something important, and our kids actually look forward to it, our 8th graders, and I think you would say, and our 5th graders do as well. So you can see there's a few there that really like a better attitude about school. We've heard over and over how kids are working super hard just so that they have the opportunity to work with their 8th grader. And the 8th graders, we've actually had students from a different class earn their way in to our program, so that way they can mentor even though they're not in my skills block class. They do come in 1 day a week, and they do have a buddy. So that's pretty cool. All right, so the quick setup process was I just emailed a bunch of 5th grade teachers, created a spreadsheet with all of their names, and these were all of their past students, so they already had a relationship and background knowledge of them. And they just put their student with who they think would benefit and work best with. They've known, like I said, they know the 8th graders because they were their students when they were in 5th grade, so it was really nice to see their names on that list. We discussed some expectations as 8th graders, you know, the formality of COVID protocols. We have a spreadsheet that they type in so we can easily contact trace if something happens. And then just hopes for what this can do for our program for 8th and 5th graders. They were assigned and they jumped right into it, so we were super proud about that. All right, so here are one of our sets of buddies that we have, and they're going to kind of explain their answer for this. So Anthony and Jonathan, I'll read the question and then you can kind of explain, okay? So what do you do on Mondays and Wednesdays with your mentor buddies?
So we work with, I work with Jonathan, help him get like his homework done, and make sure his locker and desks are clean and stuff, keep him organized and on track.
Jonathan, what do you think you do?
We work and have fun. We work together. We also develop friendship between each other, and he
welcome them on Mondays and Wednesdays. Organize desks, materials lockers, they read with them, practice competing, practice math facts or competing on just assignments. And then the social and emotional piece is a really big thing. They create friendly relationships with each other. The amount of like laughing and competitive nature that I hear with these kids during games, at times I'm like, just make sure you're nice to them, guys. Like, just make sure, take it easy. But they play card and board games. They're now doing tours of the junior high, so that way they become a little bit more acclimated to the scary environment of the junior high. And then they often eat breakfast together or complete challenges and puzzles that we do as a class. Okay. So Cameron and Lydia, how is this partnership helping you?
For me, I know it gives me something to look forward to every week on Mondays and Wednesdays, and I enjoy working with like younger kids, so working with Lydia gives me an opportunity to do that.
Motivation, awesome. This is Addison. Addison's our 8th grader, and Addison often takes kids that their student maybe or their mentor might be sick. So I often throw kids at Addison. Like, can you go pick up so-and-so's kid? And she's like, yes, I got it. So she will have multiple kids at one time, and Addison's always willing to jump right in. So this was a perfect question for her because not only is she helping one buddy, she's helping multiple. So as an 8th grader, what are some ways that you feel like you're helping your buddies?
So like, I feel like helping them now helps them not only keep their grades up this year, but it will help them with their grades in the next years because if the years build off of each other.
All right, and the last question that we have for the kids,
makes sense that there's some benefit to the fifth graders, right, to the mentee. But to hear our mentor say, oh yeah, it's helped me with teamwork, it's helped, you know, as your teaching organization, it probably is a good refresher for you yourself and how to organize. So for me, that was some really great feedback. And the other one was how much you look forward to it. So if we look at some students struggling to feel as though they fit, or belong, or have value, and now they've got a buddy that they look forward to 2 days a week, that they have that relationship with from an older peer, and for eighth graders, from somebody that looks up to me and maybe they haven't experienced that before. I think those are incredibly insightful, that you've been able to pick that out for yourself, what value it has to you. And I just want to thank you and commend you for your efforts in working together. I think it's one of those symbiotic relationships. And I'm glad to hear that it's benefiting both eighth graders and fifth graders. I do have a question. Eighth graders, we can anticipate that this would carry forward. What would you tell future eighth graders to encourage them to get involved?
It's fun to have like an extra like friend there that you might not always see, in case you get sick of like seeing the same person every day.
So if you haven't found it overwhelming, it's really something that you would encourage other people to get involved in too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The other thing is actually got two buddies so far,
Wow.
so that's been really great. So he's taken 2 kids under his wing.
Thank you for that. And we have some certificates, because we do appreciate you giving up your Tuesday evening to come and enlighten us with what you've got going on. So if I could recognize Cameron. Thank you. Anthony. Addison. And your role is also very important, that degree of flexibility. Pick up somebody new and know how to engage with them, that's incredible. Thank you for doing that. Jonathan. Very well spoken. Thank you, Jonathan. Lydia. Thank you, hon. Miss Nye. So anytime we have a student presentation, we invite you and encourage you, you're more than welcome to stick around and enjoy the rest of the meeting. And we understand if you need to scoot out because you've got some important homework to do. Thank you again.
Nice job, thank you so much.
Yeah, my dad doesn't be here until staff at 7, so.
It'll be very exciting.
Yeah, 'cause he's been so fast.
Pretty neat. Moving on to new business, if I could please have a motion to accept the reports from the preschool committee of special education. Questions or comments? All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? A motion to accept the reports from the committee on special education. Questions or comments? All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? If I could please have a motion to accept the donation at the junior high. Questions or comments? All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? A motion to accept the athletics donation? Questions or comments?
That was for the wrestling program, correct?
No, the donation was made to the general fund of the
Just in the
school.
general fund.
that will allow our high school senior football players to have their jersey for us to replace that for next year.
Additional questions or comments? All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion to approve the capital project bond resolution?
So moved.
Questions or comments? All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? I didn't grab the thing. We're at the portion of our meeting for public comment. Are there any community voices wishing to be heard? Okay. If I could please have a motion to approve personnel? Questions or comments regarding personnel? All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Informational items?
Yes, I've got a couple for you. First, fundraising updates from the high school, the International Club, and the class of 2025. We also have, as we do each budget season, we start off by giving you the schedule to look at, but then we also prepare some budget guidelines. These are things that we keep in mind as we move forward with the development of the budget. So it's there for your review. And if there's any comments about those, we would take those into account before finalizing them at the next meeting.
That's what we have.
Thank you, Superintendent. I believe we have no board committee reports this evening, but we do have district committee reports of instructional leadership.
Yes.
Yeah,
Mr. Evans?
we had our instructional leadership council today. We had perfect attendance, 40 people plus one. I invited an extra person to sit in on the meeting. Dr. Mack was, it was held virtually. Dr. Mack was in my office, he presented the recommendations of the curriculum audit for the instructional leadership council. And we discussed next steps of the curriculum audit as far as planning, deciding what works best for the Homer Center School District. That was the meeting.
Community engagement.
Yes, Mr. Finn?
Community engagement met Wednesday last week. We had another strong showing of our regulars, whose input we value very much. And Amy, feel free to chime in, because Amy Kitty was there as well. We discussed several things, one of which is a flyer, or a survey rather, that we're discussing actually sending to every address within the district to ask how they engage with Homer Central from a perspective of communication. So what kind of communications do they find valuable, what kind of frequency, and what kind of topics. And that's going to be, again, targeted at everyone, not just necessarily the ones that we're good at getting and the ones that we get every day with our parent squares, literally our parents and our guardians, but more of the community at large. And we're really looking forward to honing in on that survey. We had a really good dialogue about what we're trying to ask with the questions, what we're trying to get out of those questions. So I expect in our next meeting we should be able to arrive at a solution to that, and then we'll be able to discuss with you the long-term plan for how to get that out and what we're going to do with those results. But that's one of the other pieces that we talked a little bit about is, as we continue to survey, what does it look like? How do we act upon those results? How do we make sure we share those results out so that people continue to give us that valuable feedback? Because if they don't know where the information they're sharing with us is going, then they're less likely to continue to share. We had a couple other topics that we weren't able to get to because our conversation was so well focused on this. But one of them that we're going to continue to zero in on is extending our Parent Square platform to the community at large. So at future meetings, you'll hear us talk about our process and our plans to be able to share the ability for people to join a group and really engage with us and allow us to begin those dialogues, again, with folks that we've heretofore haven't had a great opportunity to speak with. So it was a pretty productive meeting.
Questions for John?
Thanks, Doc.
Thank you.
Board member activities?
I think the best artist is basketball.
Council had opportunity to be a spectator at women's varsity basketball tournament over the break
good so far.
Upcoming events, Superintendent?
Yes, the school year rolls on. I'm happy to report that we have a group of our students headed to Portland High School, Friday and Saturday for All County Choir Festival, a little more sense of normalcy, obviously with COVID protocols in place. And then, the 19th, we have our 8th grade parent night, getting their kids ready to rotate up to the high school as a parent takes a deep breath. Again, just a sense of normalcy. Those are good things that we have on the schedule. And another one that I would highlight is the junior high science club headed up to Racket Lake, which has been a traditional trip for them that kids find a lot of enjoyment out of. So a lot of great things going on. Hope that you're able to get around and see some of those. Okay.
If I could please have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All those in favor?